Listen, let's not get too overconfident, but congratulatoriness goes out to everybody out there. Congratulations to your hard work and effort. Blacks and businesses are thriving. And I want to say I am very proud of everybody who's out there making efforts to try to make a way for themselves, secondary income or whatever, but they are getting more engaged in business, meaning self ownership. In the first quarter of this year, it is up 13% as compared to 2018's first quarter. Blacks in businesses is thriving. A lot of people think success means millions of dollars. It doesn't. If you have revenue coming on, you have a business that's thriving, is getting off the ground, it could go and grow. It might take 6, 7 years for it to get off the ground. Some people, it took 12 years to get off the ground. But you need to have a plan. You need to try to get a model in place. You need to try to grow. And I wish him much success in it, because it's so risky to open up a store now, because you got to pay for that cost of the rent for the place and the facility, that most businesses just start off online now, because the physical space, unless you have a lot of traffic going in, depending on what you're selling, it's just too much. And that rent, the cost of the rent, it basically, balances you out. I knew some businesses that did that, and they went completely internet, and it basically helped their bottom line, because they tried to leap instead of crawl. The model of business has changed. Going out too broad by getting a facility, a place. A lot of people don't do a lot of physical shopping anymore. I saw the change in 2005. So in 2005, that model was starting to change. That you got to basically have the internet as your source. Now, if he has a physical location, like, he obviously has to have an internet or online location. So that way, it's more easier to mail it to somebody than to get hit with this rent all the time. So hopefully, he has a lot of traffic coming in that can keep him full in the state. Well, they think about it. All the old malls that you used to have back in the day, they knocked all those down and they made them almost like strip malls, because it was taking up too much space, and a lot of people wasn't even visiting these locations. So it's a lot of stores that was closing down. Stores that's been going on since your parents' days, like Sears, Montgomery Wards, all these big stores are closing down. That big corporations that's been here for like ever. Because the mall business is coming to an end because of the internet. People know that they can buy things they don't have to physically touch in order to purchase them. I knew this in 2005, and I tried to get involved because I started seeing it happening around me. And it led to the big economic collapse that we had back in 2008, where everybody homes, all the homeowners were all wiped out. The seeds is already planted. When you start seeing these companies shut down, the Enrons and all these other major corporations, when Wall Street used up and burnt up the money and they screwed everything up, and now you have no secondary jobs for people. You have no programs in place. And the only way people now could survive was to go online. Everything was synthetic, where people were being paid money through the air. They don't even provide a service, and they're getting paid. We become a place of distribution rather than manufacturing. So we don't manufacture anything anymore. And because of that, the whole country is going to suffer. Whenever you're a distribution only, you're just basically being hoarded out. That's why China is thriving because they're doing all the manufacturing. All these smaller countries who are manufacturing, they're thriving with money because all the businesses are going there. Here, all the CNC jobs, the metal, the steel, all the works we used to have, all those factories are just empty now. Ohio used to thrive. Those small towns in Ohio, they used to have big money to take care of their family, but they shut the mills down because they're not making anything anymore. CNC machines, those machines cost about $600,000 a piece. Now they're sitting in a warehouse. They might have one CNC machine that they get one job on every 6 months. You can't feed your family on that. People used to do construction work and used to have crews, big construction businesses where they have this crew, I have two, three crews going out. Now it's just them and the son. It's just now a family business. They're pretty soon they're out of business. Next thing you know, he shuts down his business and got to do independent work, working with another company. This is what the world of the United States don't talk about. And this is what's happening in the world. This is what your children are growing up into. A dismal, dismal financial plan, a financial world. And in the past 10 years, you've seen it implode, and it's going to get worse. We're going to be right back in the same housing crisis we were in before. We're almost there again, and we just don't know it. Things are going to keep coming faster and faster and faster. When you saw an economic collapse like we did in 2007, 2008, then it's like, oh, we got bailed out. No, it's going to get worse because now it's going to come back around much faster. We just had to put a band-aid on it. When the banks went bankrupt and it was nothing they could do, now everybody is in trouble because the government had to go into more debt to try to reprint money just to keep the banks rolling. They're shutting down schools. Now you're having less and less schools, more and more students being poured into less schools. So now you, instead of a classroom of 15, you got a classroom of 30. And you can't teach all these kids at once. And these kids are coming in there wild, out of control. Teachers are fed up. They got to be the principal, the vice principal, the hall monitor. They got to be everything, and then they don't want to pay them. So the fact that there's growth in the business world where blacks are figuring it out and saying we got to get involved, that is a great achievement. So when they try to tell you blacks just want to kill each other and just don't care about it, it's not true. They're waking up and they're getting involved. So you do the same, get involved, wake up. Because this is the real spill here. One crack news, you know me, I don't hold nothing back. You get the whole thing right here. You have to get in the game. So for all you guys out there, stop being afraid of it. Start teaching your children and preparing your children at young ages instead of sitting them down and putting a doggone tablet in their hands and letting them watch cartoons all day while you can go ahead and get some break. Actually, let's get some education going for your kids. Start teaching your children young, from the ages 5 on up. You should start teaching them math very fast till it becomes second nature to them. Mathematics is the key. That's why they never wanted you to learn mathematics in school. They didn't care if you knew math because blacks ran away from it. They didn't want to do it. They hated math, hated algebra. They need to know that algebra. They need to know that trig. They need to know that calculus. They need to know these things. They need to know how finance works. Our job as parents is to prepare our kids to leave our home and have a better life. And in the past 20 years, the majority of us haven't been doing that quite well. Yeah, my buddy had a very tough childhood. Um, he got about $600,000 in the bank, liquid, and he's a business manager. His daughter's a law clerk. Right? She wants to be a lawyer. She's a law clerk. So the thing is, like I say, we don't champion these things. Black union membership. The reason why I don't push for black union membership is because black unions or unions period hasn't really done what they were supposed to do for the blacks. What union has really done too much for you for the fees that you've paid? Help you get your job back when you did something stupid that was worth it? What has the union really done? Protect you from what on the job? A lot of unions haven't done anything except for take a lot of money from the brothers, but don't do anything until it affects the majority. Then they'll want to get involved, and then they're going to play ball with the other side and agree to something that you didn't want to agree to. So when the unions stop working for both sides, putting blacks in, there's a lot of blacks in unions, and the blacks is just as worse as the other people in union. The union is nothing but the mob, and all you're doing is you're paying the mob just so that the mob will have your back occasionally if everybody else have the same problem. That's it. They just want to cut off everything that you doing. Now imagine if you have no problem with the job. What are you paying the union for? I'm like, look, I don't come in here late. I don't come in here late. I don't come in here doing this and I don't do that. Now my money got to go to helping out some doggone idiot who took 3 days off knowing he's supposed to call in if he was going to be sick, but he went out of town. Now he's telling the union that he's in trouble and he was sick and knowing that he went on vacation and took the days off and came back and jagged the time off. Now we got to you're going to spend union money and time trying to investigate and fight for his job back. because you want to continuously get paid off him. If you're doing your job, should nobody have to help pay to keep your job? And see, that's where the union makes their money at. That's how they get those weak employees. The guy that keep coming in late. And now he qualified for the union. So he go crying to the union. They ain't treating me right, union. Tell them that the union just gonna play ball with both sides of the party. They just want to keep getting their cut. So I don't need a union. When I see the union ain't doing nothing for me, if the job ain't what it's supposed to be, I'll leave. I'll find another one before I stay in a bad situation where the union ain't gonna do anything for me. A lot of jobs have been sent overseas. Manufacturing jobs, all these jobs in the United States. My buddy's in Japan right now because that's where the job went. My other buddy's in Mexico because that's where the job went. Another buddy is in China, somewhere in China because that's where the job went. Most companies now have gotten rid of unions. A lot of them got rid of unions. Unless you got a government job. And guess what happens there when you got a union? Strike, out of work. Exactly. And I told people how to start looking at a business and how to start it up. I gave people that video. I've done it. It's in the timeline. How to go about starting the business. You have the internet in front of you. Find out what you want to do. Learn how to start about going to do it. You have access right here. The internet is used for a lot more than just YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot more stuff on the internet than those 3 pages. You know, they did a research and showed how many pages people go to a day. The average person goes to 4 pages a day. That's it. One person to go to like 4 pages a day. They were like Facebook, Instagram are the top searches, then YouTube, and some other thing was like number 4. But that's it. 4 pages out of the day. All this information is out there, and nobody is doing what they're supposed to do. If that's the hardest part is figuring out exactly what you want to do, get paid doing something that you think you want to do until you find out what you really want to do. Because you naturally don't really know. It'll come to you. But in the meantime, the thing that you're thinking about doing, take steps to actually getting it done. You see, that's the problem with most people who start smoking weed. Once weed become a worldwide phenomenon in the early 90s, when the Chronic album came out and everybody started going insane smoking weed, what started happening from 1992 all the way to where we are now was the demise of people's ability to go out and strive to be something. People have all these ideas but don't want to strive to go get them. They don't want to do anything. If it requires work, somebody else got to do it. How do you build up capital? There, I've showed you. I've shown you online. You can start your own business for less than $1,000, $600. You can start your own business. You can get an LLC license for less than $600, but you're not looking into it, so that way you wouldn't know these things. Take the time, find out what you want to do, take the steps, learn from people who are in the same business as the what you want to go into. Learn from them. See how they've done it. And said, okay, well, that's a good model. Just look at some of the steps it took to get there and apply yourself. Thanks, John. John, I'm glad you realized that. You're gonna realize first how much money you're gonna save by stop smoking. Then you're gonna realize how much stuff you actually can get done now that you stop smoking weed. Now you done bettered your life. Now your clothes don't smell like dro. You're not annoying half of the people around you who don't smoke. You're gonna find out a whole lot of things now that you stop smoking. My buddy had to quit doing everything because the judge made him, but he realized he realized once he stopped, he realized, man, I see the error in my ways. He started seeing people were isolated from him because of it. He lost his personality because he started smoking. He used to be this high energy guy doing everything. Once he smoked, he became the, oh, what's up? That became his life. That became his life. I should do stand up comedy. Everybody say that. Stand up is a hard thing to do. I'll be good for it for a minute. All right, the roach is back. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Now you consult for the people you were selling coke. I got caught with a kilo to an undercover in New Jersey. It's always there undercover, ain't it? Yeah, I let my hair grow and everything. People's like, you ain't get your hair cut? I'm like, for what? Let my hair grow out. When I gotta go somewhere of any importance, I can get it cut. But until then, stay right where it is. If you're in that pharmaceutical business, sir, the best way to do pharmaceutical business is to be as far away from the pharmaceutical as possible. Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Of course, it's more extreme. Everything's gonna be more extreme. The drugs gonna be more extreme. The stuff they give you at the hospital is more extreme. They just made Special K legal now. Now, how was it not good for you in the 90s? And now Special K is legal. Look it up. I'm not joking. This is the new world out here. This world is crazy. They know people are out here without health insurance. They tried to force health insurance on you. Like you're gonna go to jail if you don't get health insurance. If you got a job, you gotta get health insurance. So now they know now that that law is out, you don't have to have health insurance anymore. That's about the only good thing Trump has brought back into the White House. Now people don't have health insurance, and they try to come out with all these special packages. Now, if you don't have health insurance and you're not paying your hospital bills, hello, people are like, look, I can't afford health insurance. It's costing me too much. So if you don't have a regular 9 to 5 where you actually hired on, people were not being hired on their jobs. They're like, look, we're temp workers. So, or we independent business owners, you got to pay for your own health insurance. You're like, why am I paying for health insurance? So people come up with all of these new plans so that you can get medical health insurance. So what are the hospitals going to do to continuously make money? These doctors are selling pills on the streets and over medicating, getting people hooked on these pills and selling them medicine that they don't really need. They go in there and they give them like 3 bottles, 3 prescriptions. Look, you got this, this, and this. You don't even need 2 of them. All of that stuff is basically over the counter. What do you need a prescription for it for? They want you buying their drugs so that they can keep you hooked and you can keep coming back to them so they can keep getting you on these drugs. And some of them sell them right black market on the streets. They sell them to a guy who want to get in there, get him a prescription. Say, send your girl to my office. I'll get her a prescription. And they selling these drugs under the table because they got to make some money. This is an evil, corrupt business. Who do you think's running the syrup business? The syrup business, that is medical information, a medical model. But what is used to make syrup, they have a generic version that's in Mexico. That is a knockoff of that syrup that they use when they mix it up and make the drink. So that medicine that they get over there in Mexico, they ship it by the bottles. That is the new drug. It comes right into Texas, straight out of Mexico. They bring it right in, and the streets got it, and they're making syrup out of it. So you got the Walgreens, they had to stop giving out prescriptions because they were making deals in all these department stores for the medication. Now that's been cut off. Gotta understand, there's a lot going on. Oh no, it's great that he won't be. I'm enjoying that fact. But all these years, El Chapo has been doing what he was doing. There's one reason, the main reason they came after him, the main reason they came after the Chicago operation and everything else with El Chapo